Hello everyone, it's Glenda and welcome back to my channel Creative Grandma. It's Stitch of the Week time and I have a new stitch for you today. And this is stitch number 65 and I call it the Victorian shell stitch. Now it may have a different name, I'm just not sure what it is. Here's the stitch pattern. I have 3 samples I'm going to show you today, but before I do that, I want to give a special shout out to my newest patrons of my channel. And to learn more about becoming a patron of my channel, you can just click that link down below this video in the description box and learn more about it. So let's give a special shout out to Ellen Ryder, thank you Ellen, Karen Cooper, thank you Karen, Elsie Brown, thank you Elsie, Marie Flips, so thank you Marie, and a special thank you to Pam Randalls. Those are the new patrons of my channel, so thank you very much for that. This stitch pattern is a really pretty stitch pattern that just uses a combination of double crochet stitches forming a shell or fan stitch and then using a cross double crochet beneath those fans, and it just reminded me of a Victorian pattern, so I named it the Victorian shell. So let me turn my camera around. I'm going to get right up close on the samples and show you my 3 samples, and then we'll jump right into learning this stitch pattern. I'll be right back. I'm starting with my first stitch sample, and this one I change colors using 3 different colors. I used pink, and then I used a self-striping yarn for the blue. I used yellow, pink, and then the blue was turning to a greenish color. I'm trying to hold it up so you can see those cross stitches of how that forms that stitch. Just a beautiful fan type shell pattern. Now with this pattern, if you want to change colors, you're going to work the first row using the first color you want to use, and you only work 1 row, and then you're going to change colors every 2 rows. You're going to work that cross double crochet row and then a full fan row, and then you change colors every time you start that cross double crochet row. Now I did forget to mention the stitch multiple. This pattern is a multiple of 6 plus 2. So you would change 6, 12, 18, 24 to whatever width you want, and then when you get it to the width you want, you add 2 more chains. So now let me show you my second sample. My second sample is the pure white, which I love to do, and this is made in that crisp, clean, bright white color. Let me see if I can zoom out just a little more so you can see this pattern. So let me show you my first sample again, since my camera zoomed out a little more. I think you can see the pattern a little bit better. So there it is. Now let me bring that white one back. I think you can really see the difference in the pattern when you change those colors every 2 rows. So that's changing colors, and then this is with that solid color. It's still a very elegant, very pretty pattern. And then I made my third sample using a multicolor. So here's the multicolor. I don't see the pattern in this sample as well as the other ones. It kind of disappears. I mean, I can tell it's a shell stitch, but you just cannot see that pattern as well with the multicolor. But it's a very pretty pattern, and it's really easy to work up. Now for today's sample, I'm going to be using Red Heart Super Saver, and this is Perfect Pink, color number 706. And I'm also going to be using the Aruba Sea, and this is color number 505. And I'm using 2 colors because I want to show you how to change colors so you know how to switch to that other color if you're not used to changing colors. So we'll be doing that today as well. And then for my sample today, I'm using a size I9 or 5.5 millimeter hook. So grab your yarn, grab your hook. Now if you're using a different weight of yarn, this is a 4 medium weight yarn, then use the recommended hook size that's on your yarn label. Now this has a recommended hook size of an I9, and that's exactly what I'm using. Now you can go up or down a hook size depending on what you want to do, but it's always nice when you look on your label because it gives you usually the best hook size for the yarn. So let's get started. For today's sample, I'm going to be using Red Heart Super Saver, and I'm using the color Perfect Pink, and that's color number 706. And I'm also going to be using a Rubisy, and this is color 505. And I'm using two colors because I want to show you how to change colors when you change colors with this pattern. So I'll show you how to do that if you've never changed colors. So I'm going to start with the pink, and again, this stitch pattern has a multiple of 6 plus 2. So I'm going to start with a chain 20, which is my multiple of 6 times 3 for 18, and then add 2. So I'm just going to tie my yarn around my hook. So I tied my yarn around my hook, and now I'm ready to begin my chain. We're chaining 20, so you're going to yarn over, you're going to pull through the loop on your hook, and that creates your first chain. Now the loop on your hook does not count as a chain. You're going to yarn over, pull through, that's 2, yarn over the hook, pull through, that's 3, yarn over, pull through, that's 4. Continue until you have a chain with 20 chains, and I'll be back and we'll get row 1 started. I'm back. I have my chain 20 made. So we're going to begin, and we're going to skip that first chain. I'm going to insert into the second chain from hook, and we're going to work a single crochet. Yarn over, pull through that chain, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. You just made a single crochet. You're going to skip 2 chain, 1, 2, yarn over the hook, insert into that third chain, and we're going to work 5 double crochet. Yarn over, pull through that chain, you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 loops. That's how you make a double crochet. I'll show you one more time. Yarn over the hook, insert into that same chain, yarn over, pull through, you have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. Again, that is how you make a double crochet. We're going to work 3 more double crochet into that same chain. Yarn over, insert into that same chain, work your 3rd double crochet, yarn over, insert into the same chain, work your 4th double crochet, yarn over, insert into that same chain, and work your 5th double crochet. Your shell stitch is made. You should have 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to skip the next 2 chain, skip 1, 2, insert into the 3rd chain, and work a single crochet. Yarn over, pull through, you have 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2. Now we're going to start our repeat. So if you need help, you just click back on the video to where I say this is the start of the repeat, and you work until I say this is the end of the repeat, and you repeat it across your chain. You're going to start and skip the next 2 chain, 1, 2. We're going to work 5 double crochet into this next chain, yarn over the hook, you skip 2 chain, insert into the 3rd, and work 5 double crochet. There's 1, yarn over, insert into the same chain, work your 2nd double crochet. I'm just going to count my stitches as I make them. This is my 3rd double crochet. Four double crochet, and my 5th double crochet, all into that same chain. You can double count your stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 stitches made, which creates your shell. You're going to skip the next 2 chain, 1, 2, insert into that 3rd chain, and work a single crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. We have one more repeat to do, and we'll be at the end of the row. So let's begin again. You're going to yarn over, you're going to skip the next 2 chain, insert into the next chain, and work 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 double crochet, all into that same chain. Double count your stitches, 2, 4, 5, and that created your shell. You're going to skip the next 2 chain, insert into the last chain, and work a single crochet. So when you're working this pattern, when you get to the end of row 1, you should always be ending with a single crochet into that last chain. So you can see we started with a single crochet, we ended with a single crochet. So that is what row 1 should look like. So now row 1, if you want to change colors, then you're going to fasten off or change your color before you work your last stitch. So now, depending on what you have in mind of what you want to make, if you're working in a solid color or if you're changing colors, I'm going to show you several different ways of going to the next row. So first, if you're working in a solid color, you're just going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and you're going to turn your work and you're going to begin the next row. So working with one color is the simplest way if you're just learning a stitch. So if you're using those self-striping yarns, then that's the way to go. So now I'm going to rip this out, and I'm going to rip my last single crochet stitch out. So with this pattern, if you're changing colors, then you would want to change colors after the first row, because that's your base row, and then you would change colors every 2 rows. So let me grab my next color. This is not how I do it, but this is a preferred method for some people. You're going to work that last stitch halfway. We're going to skip those 2 chains. I insert my hook into that last chain. I yarn over with the current color and pull it through. So when you're changing colors and it says pull the new color through before you pull that last loop through, now if this was a double crochet, you'd work more of that stitch, and right before you pull that last loop through, you take your new color. Now you can tie it if you prefer, tie it right to this piece of yarn, or you can just pull it through and secure it later. So you just grab that new color and you pull it through the 2 loops on your hook. And when you look at your work, you can see that that last single crochet is all in the same color. When you pull that last loop through, you're bringing that new color in for the start of the next row. And you always want to make sure that the top of this last stitch is the same color as the current row. So this is how you would start the row when you change colors. You would chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then you would turn your work. So I'm just going to rip this out because when I do it, I fasten off. I make my stitch, and like I said, there's so many preferred ways of people changing colors. It's all in what you prefer. Now I will finish my stitch completely. I'll work that single crochet, and then I fasten off my yarn. Now, I'm getting a little detailed with this. These are some options for you. And then I chain 2. This is how I fasten off. I pull up my hook. I grab that yarn. I'll have those 2 chains. You just take your fingers and you pull down, and it makes a secure knot. So that's how I fasten off. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my work. I'm going to insert my hook into that first single crochet right there where we ended. And now I'm going to pull my new color through. I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And you can take this end and you can tie it to this end and make it secure. Now for video purposes, I don't do that, but if you really want to make sure your work don't come apart, then go ahead and tie it to this end, and then you're ready to go. We're going to work a double crochet into this same stitch that we did our chain 3. You're going to yarn over, insert back into that beginning single crochet, and work a double crochet. Now we're going to start the repeat. So when I say this is the start of the repeat, this is where you click back on the video if you need help. So this is the start of the repeat for row 2, and then when I'm done, I'll say this is the end of the repeat. So let's begin. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to come over to the center double crochet of this 5 double crochet group. So if you're not sure, just count those stitches, pull them apart. 1, 2, 3. The third stitch is the center stitch. 4, 5. So we're going right into that center stitch. You're going to work a single crochet. So skip 1, 2 double crochet, insert into that third stitch, and work a single crochet. You're going to chain 1, and now we're getting ready to work our cross double crochet. So we're going to jump all the way over to the first double crochet of the next shell stitch. You're going to yarn over, you're skipping the last 2 stitches of this shell stitch, you're skipping that single crochet, and you're going to insert into the first double crochet of the next shell. Insert into that first stitch and work your double crochet. You're going to chain 1, and now we're going to be working in front of the double crochet just made, and we're going to work a double crochet into this last double crochet of that previous shell. So you're coming back to form that cross stitch. Yarn over the hook, come back to that last double crochet of that shell, and make sure you're going under both loops of that stitch. Yarn over, pull it through that stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. And when you look at your work, you can see how it formed that cross double crochet stitch, and you have the chain 1 space in the center. And that is the end of the repeat. So let's begin again. We're going to chain 1. We're going to single crochet into the center of that next 5 double crochet group. So you're going right into that third stitch. So skip the first stitch, the second stitch, insert into the third stitch, and work a single crochet. You're going to chain 1, and now we're going to form our cross double crochet stitch. You're going to yarn over the hook, you're going to go clear over to the next shell. This is your current shell, this is the next, and you're going to work a double crochet into that very first stitch of that next shell. Insert into the first double crochet, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1, you're going to yarn over, bring your hook back in front of that double crochet you just made. You're going to skip that previous single crochet, and you're going to insert into that last double crochet of that previous shell. Insert into the last double crochet, take your hook all the way to the back, and make sure you're under both loops of that stitch, and work your double crochet. And you can see it formed your cross double crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. So you're going to repeat the repeat across until you get to that last set of 5 double crochet in that last shell stitch. Then you're going to end the row, you're going to chain 1, you're going to work a single crochet into that center stitch, which is the third double crochet. Count up 1, 2, 3 to the third stitch, insert underneath both loops of the top of that stitch, and work a single crochet. We're going to end the row, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to work 2 double crochet into this ending single crochet. So if you're not sure where it is because you're on the wrong side of the work, you just need to turn your work and look for the top of your stitches. So this is the last stitch here, that single crochet, and we're going to work 2 double crochet into that stitch. So if you're not sure here, just turn slightly, yarn over the hook, you're going to insert underneath the top 2 strands of that last stitch and work 2 double crochet. There's 1, yarn over, insert into that same space, and work your 2nd double crochet. Now, because each color changes every 2 rows, we're going to use the same color to start row 3. So for row 3, we're going to begin with a chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. You're going to turn your work, and we're going to work 2 double crochet all into the same beginning stitch. So you're going to follow that chain 3 down. Here is your beginning stitch, the first stitch, and we're going to work 2 double crochet into that first stitch. Yarn over the hook, take your hook, follow that chain 3 right down to the base into that first stitch, and work 2 double crochet. There's 1, yarn over the hook, insert into that same beginning stitch, and work your 2nd double crochet. Now we're going to start our repeat. So let's begin. We're going to single crochet into the next single crochet. So you have to look at your work. Where is your next single crochet? It's right here. So here are your double crochet, your chain 1s. So we're going right into the single crochet. Insert into the top of that single crochet, going under both loops, and work a single crochet. Now we're going to work 5 double crochet into the chain 1 space of the next crossed double crochet stitch. So our chain 1 space is right into the center of that stitch. So you're going to yarn over, you're going to skip everything and go right to that chain 1 space in the center of that cross stitch, and we're going to work 5 double crochet. There's 1. Yarn over, you're inserting into that same chain 1 space, work your 2nd double crochet, yarn over, insert into that same space, work your 3rd double crochet, yarn over, insert into that same space, work your 4th double crochet, yarn over, insert into the same space, and work your 5th double crochet. You can double count your stitches, it only takes a second. 2, 4, 5, and your shell stitch is made, and that is the end of the repeat. So very simple repeat across. So let's begin again. You're going to single crochet into the next single crochet. Your single crochet is right into the center of that previous shell in the row below, it's right in the center. Insert into that single crochet and work a single crochet. Yarn over the hook, you're going to jump over to the chain 1 space of the center of that next cross double crochet. So insert your hook right into the center of your double cross and work 5 double crochet. There's 1. Two, 3, 4, and 5. Just double count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Your shell stitch is made. So you're just going to repeat the repeat across until you get to the last single crochet of that row. So now we're going to end the row, and we're going to end with a single crochet into that last single crochet. Insert your hook into that single crochet and work a single crochet. To end the row, we're going to work 3 double crochet into the top of the ending turning chain. So here's the ending turning chain. You can see where we did that chain 3 of the previous row to start the row. So when you work back across, this is your ending chain 3, and we're going to work 3 double crochet right into the top 3rd chain of that chain. Yarn over the hook, insert into the top of that chain, and work 3 double crochet. There's 1. insert into the same chain, work your second double crochet, yarn over, insert into that same chain, and work your third double crochet. So before I work the last loop through, now if you're working with a solid color, you're going to finish the stitch, and then you would chain one and you would turn. So if you're going to change colors, again, you have two different methods of doing so. I'm going to rework that last stitch. I'm going to yarn over, insert into that chain, yarn over, and pull through. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So now before I pull that last loop through, I'm going to grab my pink or whatever color you want to use. Now again, you can tie your yarn onto this piece here, and you're just going to pull that new color through. And again, when you look at your work, make sure that that stitch is finished on top with the same color. If it's not, you've done it wrong. Just click back on the video and just watch slowly what I do so you can get it correct. And then you are going to chain one and turn your work, and you're ready to begin row 4. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish this stitch and fasten off. It's just easier for me to do it this way because that's what I'm used to. But again, everyone has their own method of doing crochet. You have your own style of holding your yarn. You have your own style of changing colors, fastening off. It's all in what you prefer, and I think it has a lot to do with how you're taught as well. So now we only have 2 rows to go. So now I'm ready to start row 4. So I'm just going to turn my work. I'm going to insert my hook into the top of this beginning stitch, and I'm just going to pull my new color through, which is going to be the pink because I'm only working in 2 colors. Now you can pull that yarn through, and again I'm going to chain 1, and if you want to, you can go ahead and tie this onto this end, and that makes it nice and secure. So let's begin row 4. Row 4, we're going to begin with a single crochet into this beginning double crochet stitch. Insert into that first stitch and work a single crochet. We're going to begin with a chain 1, and we're going to double crochet into the first double crochet of the next 5 double crochet group. So you're going to look for that next double crochet group, which is here, our 5 stitches, and we're going to work a double crochet into this first stitch. And again, if you're not sure, take your fingers and just pull that work apart until you find that first stitch. Yarn over, insert into the first double crochet of that next full 5 double crochet group, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1, and now we're going to finish our cross double crochet. You're going to yarn over, you're going to bring your hook back over in front of that double crochet stitch you just made. You're going to skip that previous single crochet, and you're going to go into the last double crochet of that 3 double crochet group. Insert into that stitch and work a double crochet. And you just made your cross double crochet stitch. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to single crochet into the center double crochet of that next 5 double crochet group. So count up 1, 2, 3, insert into that center stitch and work a single crochet. So let's begin again. You're going to chain 1. You're going to double crochet into the first double crochet of the next 5 double crochet group. So you're working in this current group, you're going to jump over to the next shell, yarn over the hook, insert into that first double crochet. If you're not sure, look for your single crochet and then go into that first stitch on the other side of it and work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1, yarn over, you're coming back, you're skipping that previous single crochet, insert into that last double crochet of that previous 5 double crochet group and work a double crochet. your cross double crochet is made. You're going to chain 1, you're going to single crochet into the center double crochet of the next 5 double crochet group. You're going to count up 1, 2, 3, insert into that center stitch, and work a single crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. So we just worked in our last full shell stitch. So to end the row, you'll notice that you ended with a single crochet into the last full shell across. And then we have our half shell of those 2 double crochet and that ending chain 3. So we're going to go ahead and work our ending cross double crochet. You're going to chain 1, you're going to yarn over, you're going to insert into the first double crochet of that ending 3 double crochet shell, work a double crochet. You're going to chain 1, you're going to yarn over, you're going to come back and insert your hook into the last double crochet of that full double crochet shell and work a double crochet. And your cross double crochet stitch is finished. We're going to end our row with a chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into the top of our ending chain. So you have those 2 double crochet in that half shell and then your ending chain. Insert into the top of that chain and work a single crochet. Now we're getting ready to start row 5. Now again, remember this pattern calls for every 2 rows you change your color, so the next row will work into the same color. So we're going to start with the chain 1. You're going to turn your work. You're going to single crochet into that beginning single crochet. And now we're going to start our repeat. This is a simple row repeat. We're going to work 5 double crochet into the chain 1 space of this next crossed double crochet, and then we're going to single crochet into the next single crochet. So again, this is the start of the repeat for row 5. Yarn over, insert into the chain 1 space of that next cross double crochet and work 5 double crochet. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You're going to insert into that next single crochet and work a single crochet. And that is the end of the repeat. So let's do it again. Yarn over the hook, insert into the chain 1 space of the center of that cross double crochet and work 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Count your stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to work a single crochet into that next single crochet, insert your hook, and work a single crochet. That is the end of the repeat, and you work this repeat right across to the end of the row. So we have one more repeat to go. You're going to yarn over the hook, insert into the chain 1 space of that cross double crochet stitch and work 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Count your stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you end with a single crochet into this ending single crochet. If you're not sure, turn the work until you see those top 2 loops, insert into those top 2 loops of that ending single crochet, and work a single crochet. And that is the end of the pattern. Now for this pattern, you're going to repeat rows 2 through 5. So just click back on the video if you need help, and you're going to start at the start of row 2 and work to row 5, and then repeat again, rows 2 through row 5. And this is what it looks like. If you have a lot of scrap yarn, this I think would be a beautiful afghan, using up all those odds and ends of scraps with all those beautiful colors. Just an extraordinary afghan. But I have to tell you, my favorite is changing colors every 2 rows. I just think it has a more pronounced look to the pattern. Again, this is the one where we change colors every 2 rows. This is the multicolor, and then this is the white. All kinds of possibilities with this pattern. Get creative. If you make this stitch pattern, make sure you get on our Facebook group and post a picture of your sample of what you decided to do with this stitch pattern. This is a free pattern download. If you look in the description box, the link is there. It'll take you right to our website, creativegrandma.net, where you can just click on Stitch of the Week. You scroll down until you find whatever stitch pattern you want. Just click on the name of the stitch, and if you look down in the bottom left-hand corner of your computer screen, there should be a little file. You click on that file and the patterns will come up. So thank you everybody for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this week's pattern, the Victorian shell stitch. And again, if you know the real name of this stitch pattern, please list it in the comment box so we know it by the proper name. I'm just not sure what the proper name is. So thank you everybody, and until next time, happy crocheting.